All right, so we're gonna do just a quick little video on how to read these like CT scans and X-rays and stuff. Sorry, the thing's like a little blurry and it's like wobbling around and whatever. But honestly, they're not gonna teach you in class, so this is probably better than nothing. So let's just start with the easy ones, which is probably the X-rays. Those are probably the easiest ones. And I'll just like point out what you're kind of like looking for in each of these, and like kind of how to approach like imaging scans. You'll get imaging scans on the exam and the practical, so it's good to know it. By the way, this PowerPoint right here, this one right here, this one's clutch. My buddy Elena, shout out Elena, term one small group member, put this together doing MSK, and it's like absolute money. Like I don't know if any of us missed any questions because of that. Like it was just like, this is really all we did for it. As far as like getting the imaging down. Anyways, all right, so let's look at it. So basically, all right, sorry, everything's like really weirdly located on my desk too, my bad. So all right, so this is an X-ray. This is just like a lateral aspect of an X-ray of a spine. Basically any sort of X-ray, what you're kind of looking for is things like dislocations and fractures, right? So in like a spine X-ray, you're going to be looking for like something like, let's say like, you know, this part of the spine, whatever that is, it got like fractured, or maybe like you have an elbow dislocation. We'll get to a couple of them, but basically what you're looking for is straight lines. So you're going to be looking for kind of like these sort of contrast lines right here. So it's going to be like that. And basically it's just like, if they're straight, then you're good. If they're like sort of like crooked and whatnot, then you might have a problem. Honestly, it's probably a good thing that this video is kind of blurry, because like the scans you're going to get on the actual exam are going to be even worse. So just like, and they're not going to have the lines for you, so just make sure you kind of know how to like read them. But yeah, you're kind of just looking for like straight lines. And then you'll get the hang of it, like as far as like what everything is. But for the most part, that's kind of what you're looking for. Anything out of the like ordinary, it should be like symmetrical, blah blah blah. You know what I mean? All right, so here's just some more spine X-rays. We won't really go through these. These are like, yeah, what's going on? Yeah, we'll skip through a couple of these. Like for example though, so this would be like, say like this odontoid fracture, right? So like, as you can see, like on this X-ray, if you didn't point it out to you, it might be a little hard to tell, but you know, after you look at it for a couple times, like you can tell like, okay, so that's what I'm looking for right there. Like I'm looking for like this sort of like aberration in like the curvatures and whatever, and that's going to tell me there's a fracture. And I apologize, this is like super blurry. I can't get this thing to focus at all. But yeah, so like this is a pretty obvious fracture. Like look at that, like it's literally pointing in the wrong direction. But yeah, anyways, this one too, like there's a gaping hole. Things like that. That's kind of what you're looking for. Let's go to some harder stuff though. So like the spine X-rays, they're pretty straightforward. Let's see, still spine stuff. The spine in general is pretty straightforward. It's really the upper and lower limb and things like that where things get a little bit, in the abdomen CTs. The abdomen CTs are a little bit tricky. So let's see what we get for upper limb. All right, so like for example with upper limb, let's take for example right here. Okay, clearly on this X-ray you can see something's wrong. That's super easy to pick out. Maybe over here it might be a little bit harder, but you can see, if you know the general distance of like what the normal is compared to like what the abnormal is, that's kind of what you're looking for, like whenever you look at like problems and stuff. Because honestly, if you can look at the scan on the exam and you know what it is, like you really don't have to spend too much time looking at the actual question and whatnot. It's like, it's gonna be straightforward. All right, so here's some I think this is an MRI. We didn't do a ton of MRIs for this one, but anyway, so like this would be a dislocation, right? Because like you can see it's literally like the thing is popped out of place. So that's kind of what you're looking for. Let's go to the hard stuff though. Oh, and also like the elbow and stuff, like you can tell it's very easy with these structures what you're looking for. Because like for example, if you have like an elbow, where is it? Let's say maybe like I'm looking for a subluxation. Yeah, so like a subluxation of an elbow or something like that, you're looking at like, you know, the thing's just displaced. It's supposed to be like over here, right? but it's like out here. That's kind of what you're looking for with these scans. All right, let's go on to these CT scans. Where are they? Sorry, as you can see, there's a lot of imaging in MSK in general, but how much you get tested on it, you know, it really depends, and there's like a clear fracture right there, right? All right, here we go. Here's the real stuff. Okay, so this is probably one of the more confusing things, and honestly, they just throw you out in the wild. You're probably not going to have pelvis and abdomen for a while, but like maybe just familiarize yourself with it, because honestly, they don't give you enough time for it. It's like thrown at the end, and you're kind of just like, you're just kind of on your own, and they don't really teach you how to like go about looking at it beforehand, but we're gonna look at it. So basically, what this is a transverse, okay, cut of a pelvic CT. So basically, this is what you're kind of imagining. So for a transverse cut, you're kind of imagining your patient being put into like a MRI machine or something like that, right? So you know, like those little tube machines that you're like kind of like you like put the patient into. Their head goes in first, and then their body goes in, like the body and legs go in second, and then they do all like the imaging stuff, right? So imagine them going into that, right? And you're standing at the foot of their bed, okay? So you're standing at the foot of their bed, and you're basically, what you're doing is you're looking at their feet. You squat down, you look at their feet, like the soles of their feet, and you're basically looking up their butthole. That's like the best way to put it. Like you're literally looking up their butthole, and you just like stare up their butthole, and like that's what is going to be shown on these transverse CT scans. Basically what you're seeing over here is this is going to be your right side of your patient, the right side of your patient, right? Because this would be where their right leg is if you're staring up their butthole, and then this is where their left leg is. So this is going to be the left side of their body. But the problem is that that's all great, like, you know, right, left, not too bad, right? The problem comes in when you're trying to figure out where you are, because these are slices, right? So there's going to be like, there could be like a slice close to their thorax, there's going to be a slice close to like their abdomen, there's going to be a slice towards their like pelvis or whatever, and depending on the landmarks, you kind of have to be able to tell what you're looking at and like where you are in association to like the body, and then that's going to help you figure out like what structures you're looking at and like where everything is located, right? Basically, that's huge, because if you don't know where you are, you kind of can't answer the questions, because you don't really know like what the, like, you know, blood vessels or what the organs or anything really is in that area. So that's kind of the biggest hurdle. But it's not too bad once you get used to it. So the first thing you should look for is your major just your major landmarks. So here, all right. So you're looking at this scan, and you see this thing over here, right? So like this thing, what is all this? What is all this? Like, you know, it's got some holes right here, whatever. So that's going to be like your diaphragm, right? So if that's your diaphragm, then basically what we're looking at is we're looking at something that's higher up, right? And then here's going to be some like vessels, blood vessels, and then there's going to be other organs and stuff located around here. Or abdominal muscles and whatnot. So yeah, so for example, your psoas muscles, they're usually always going to be going like down your like spinal column, basically, and that's a good landmark as well. And then obviously your vertebra will tell you which way you're looking at. So this is going to be your anterior portion. So this is like the front of the person's body. So this is like their belly, and then this is going to be their back, right? So if this is their back, then you can basically rule out a lot of structure, like, right? So the gluteus maximus is going to be right there, and then and whatnot. Actually, is this the diaphragm? I might have messed up. I don't think this is the diaphragm. My bad. See, even like it's like difficult to like pick it out if you haven't done it in a while, and we haven't. Anyways, scratch that if it's not, like, I have no idea. But basically, I'm just trying to show you like what like the big picture is as far as like looking at all this stuff. So anyways, so you got some of these things, and let's keep going. Yeah, so for example, your bladder, right? So your bladder is going to be in the same line as like your pelvis. So you're going to be able to see your like your sacrum. You're going to be able to see your iliac spine and stuff like that in the same level. So if you know where the cut is, so just look for what the major like bony landmarks are going to be, right? And then look for the major organs. And that's kind of what you're looking for. You already know this is the right side. So for example, if we went higher up in the body, what would you find on this side? The liver or the spleen? Since it's the right side, you're going to find the liver, right? And then if it's the left side, you're going to find the spleen, stuff like that, right? And that's basically how you kind of have to approach it. And let's see, let's move through here. Okay, so this is going even lower down. So this is going to be like your pubis area. So this is like just like your bony landmarks. You kind of have to just keep scrolling down and then seeing like what you're kind of like looking at, like scan by scan. Just make sure you know. And this is like the spider scan, like the one that everyone knows. Like this is where all like your muscles come out of that hold up your kind of your puborectalis area, right? Continence muscles. But yeah, that's basically what you're looking at for that. And then you'll also, yeah, okay, let's switch to the pelvic CTs really quick, and then the coronal CTs, and then we'll go back to the other one. So the coronal CTs, what they're doing is basically like you're just taking the person's body and you're slicing it in half, except not like not on the sagittal plane, so not like down into the left and right, but it's going to be sliced in half into the front and back, right? So here's the good thing about this. This is a lot easier to do because like for the most part, the structures are going to be pretty like similar for like all of these for these scans. They can only go so far, like, you know, as far as like cut sections are concerned. Like, you know, you can only make like maybe like 3 or 4 cuts, right? As opposed to the transverse ones where you could just like go up and down the body all the way from the feet to the head, right? So basically, yeah, anyways, so kind of what you're looking at here is like, you know, you got your like IVC and whatever. So these are going to be like blood vessel landmarks. This is a CT, but if they gave you an MRI, it would be different though. So just make sure that you know like kind of what you're looking at. So then once again, your bony landmarks are going to help you out. And let's actually skip through this because this isn't too bad. Yeah, these are pretty like straightforward. As far as that, so look, you can see your rib numbers as well, so that'll help you as well. So something like that. But really, okay, now here, let's look at this guy. Okay. So, actually, skip a couple of these. Sorry, this is kind of just like on the fly, but these do come up a bit. That's why we're trying to make this a little easier. Okay, whatever. I was looking for like the kidneys and stuff, but anyway, so you can definitely tell easily by like the bony landmarks where you're going to be. This is, once again, we're just switching back into X-rays and whatever. But X-rays and stuff, those are pretty easy. Like you don't have to worry about those too much. It's really just the CT scans that are kind of difficult. Where are they? Okay, so here's some more X-rays. These are now like more like chest X-ray type of things where they're just showing you stuff, and these are going to be like your pelvic ones. But anyways, so you get the general gist of it though. It's just like you have to pick out where your landmarks are and then work from that. But yeah, I don't know if that was like helpful or not, but hopefully like you can sort of tell what's going on based off of like these types of things. I wish I had a better way of doing this, but yeah. Oh, also, yeah, I would know these as well. So here's another thing. So here's going to be like your ACLs and PCLs and stuff. Now these ones are MRIs, right? So this is what happens when you get like a football player or someone like come in and like they tore up their knee. So like your posterior cruciate is just going to be like posterior to posterior, right? And then if you have your, which is your PCL, right? And then if you have your anterior cruciate, it's going to be anterior to posterior, right? So it's going to be down here. So being able to read that kind of stuff is going to be helpful for you on the exam as well. And yeah, I think that's about it. Yeah, so like, and then being able to tell like left from right, correct? So like if you're like looking at like this guy, is going to be your fibula and your tibia, right? So then you can sort of like figure out where you are in relation to everything. So just if you know how everything kind of looks, you'll be okay. And like, yeah. But look for the aberrations, obviously. Like that's where you should start. And for the most part, like look at all this stuff. Like this is what they're gonna give you. But then as far as like the like CT scans and whatnot, the transverse CT scans, they can kind of just give you like blood vessels and things. Blood vessels are always just gonna look like tiny little circles. You just have to know where they're located in relation to each other. So like, for example, your vena cava is going to be on this side, your aorta is going to be on that side, like that kind of stuff. And then you got to like make sure you don't mix it up with like an esophagus or something. And that's pretty much it. But yeah, if you have any questions, like, post on it. But yeah, that's pretty much it for that.